By popular demand, let's talk about Dinosaur. This is the one, for whatever reason, everybody's been pleading for me to do, even though it technically isn't a 2D animated film. My guess was that the film must be so good that obviously everybody wants me to review it. Okay. I didn't quite see it as that, but, alright, let's start from the beginning. And I mean really from the beginning. Let's go to the trailer, because this is the first thing a lot of people saw. The trailer was just the first 5 minutes of the movie, with a little dinosaur egg being picked up and traveling across fields of real-life landscape and computer-generated dinosaurs. And I gotta admit, it was pretty cool. It got a lot of us really hyped up. But then when a lot of people saw the movie, their reaction was kinda similar.
Yar, what is it?
Ah! They talk? I thought they were really gonna do something new with like the animals that don't talk, sort of like in Fantasia, or do this really adult story, but okay, oh well. You know what? Maybe it'll be like Land Before Time, you know, where it's this really big story and really touching characters and just this timeless...
What you need is a little help from the Love Monkey.
Love Monkey, huh?
Come on, hot stuff. Let's get going.
Okay, which celebrity is that?
Girls, I'm known as the Professor of Love.
Professor? Really? They had professors in the dinosaur age? Yeah, I know I'm probably overreading it, but for God's sakes, look at this opening! Look at how real they try to make these dinosaurs! They're obviously trying to tell this really, really big story, and I'm sorry, you can't do it with these voices and these references. If it was something like out of a Rudyard Kipling novel, maybe, but...
The Love Monkey.
Oh, stop saying that! The story, you've heard it a million times. It's Moses again. A young one is driven from his family to be raised by somebody else. Years later, he grows up, but finds something threatens his kind, in this case, a meteorite. So he finally comes across his people, and wouldn't you know it, he emerges a leader. Again, I'm willing to put up with this if they give us something new, but these characters are so bland and so tired. The minute you see the main character, you know what he's gonna be. He's gonna be naive, but determined. A wisecracker, but knows when to be serious. The all-around good role model who cracks a few jokes every now and then. What about the supporting characters? You have the female love interest, who is just there to be the female love interest. Yeah, they talk twice, and all of a sudden they're like laying eggs at the end. When did that happen? The jerky leader is the jerky leader. Oh, wait, actually, we have two jerky leaders, so that way we can do both story arcs. The one with the guy who realizes his mistakes, and the one with the stubborn jerk who never catches on. Well, great, you gave us two cliches for one. You got that weird thing I never get where some of the dinosaurs talk, but some don't. You could argue maybe they're not as intelligent, but look, one of them's like a dog. I'm sorry, that's really weird. If it was like a different animal, maybe, but when all the rest of the dinosaurs can talk, this is really kind of odd. It's like talking to a person and then another person is suddenly licking and scratching at you. It's, I don't know, just odd. Even all that beautiful landscape we were promised in the trailer, most of it's just traded in for bland, boring-looking desert. And I know what they're getting across. They're supposed to be suffering, the meteor hit, it's supposed to be bad times. But when your story and your characters are as bland as this, the least you could do is give us something interesting to look at. Now, to the movie's credit, despite the fact that the story's been done a million times and these characters have been done a million times, it's not bad. I mean, there's a few things I like. For example, I really like these two older dinosaurs that are constantly bringing up the rear. They know they're slowing people down, but at the same time, they're trying their best to be optimistic and hopeful. The supportive mother, though again, done a million times, is actually a genuinely likable character too. And I do sort of like it when the one leader realizes his mistake, and is even ready to die for it. But for a story like this, where obviously they're trying to tell a great big tale with great big characters, nothing much really stands out about it. Something like Land Before Time really works because not only is it done with dinosaurs, but it's done with the young dinosaur. And they don't use terms like the love monkey, they use terms that are a little bit more timeless. And you feel the pain and the struggle they have to get through because they're much younger. That makes the danger so much more greater. And they all have unique personalities, and you could easily gravitate towards them. You could get angry at them, or you could get sad for them, or you could get happy for them. Why is it I always praise this movie whenever I'm talking about Disney films? So yeah, I hear the film didn't do phenomenally well at the box office, and you can probably see why. But again, a lot of people really want me to do this, so I guess a lot of people out there probably really enjoy it. And if you do, that's awesome. Like I said, I don't think there's anything ethically wrong or really insulting about it. It just seems like a really been done story, as well as really been done characters. And I know that there's about 5 original stories that we're all doing variations on, and like 10 original characters that we're only doing variations on, but the more they can hide it or at least bring something new to the table, that's what makes a difference. And for me, I just didn't feel this brought enough. I didn't hate it, I just couldn't get into it. But hey, apparently a lot of people did, and I'm sure a lot of people still do. If you're interested to see what some people are talking about, give it a watch. But if the same things that annoy me also annoy you, I'd probably say give it a skip. By popular demand, a Goofy movie. This is a film I actually already talked about a bit. I did a list of the top nostalgia critics I wouldn't review, and one of them was a Goofy movie. I wasn't really sure why so many people wanted me to review this. I will say that, in a sense, I was the exact wrong age to see this when it came out. I think I was just starting to enter high school, and when you're starting to enter high school, you don't want to see a Disney film with Goofy in it. So keep in mind, I didn't grow up with this, I actually saw it years later. But, for what I saw, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, okay, it's not among one of the best Disney films or anything, but you know what? For what I could have gotten, I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. The story is Max, now played by a different voice actor, is forced to go on a field trip with his father, Goofy. The only downside is all his friends are going to a concert, and even a possible girlfriend named Roxanne might be there as well. So while on the trip, he's constantly trying to find a way to steer the car towards the concert, instead of on the fishing trip that his father wants to go on. So yeah, kind of a standard story, but what really sets it apart, oddly enough, is the connection between the father and the son. The father just wants to be a part of his son's life, and the son, of course, wants his independence. This could easily be shown through a bunch of throwaway lines, and yeah, they're in there too. But actually, there's a lot of quiet and, dare I even say it, kind of mature moments in this movie. I mean, it never goes too far, it always comes back to the fact that it's a funny cartoon. But for example, look at this opening. Artistically, this is a very nicely laid out movie. And I mean, think about it, you're doing Goof Troop the movie. Would you expect any of this to be in it? In fact, it's actually kind of cool to see Disney animate some modern day technologies. Like, when's the last time you saw a hot tub in a Disney film? And really, they don't take their gloves off even when they go swimming? Cartoons are weird. I will say one of the downsides is that there's very little of Pete's family, and that was always my favorite part of the show. We don't even see the wife, the crazy daughter, or the dog, and I really miss them. They were funny. But to be fair, that's not the movie's focus. It really is supposed to be about the father and son, and they keep it where it should be. The songs I don't remember too well, with the exception of the opening one. I have to admit, it is pretty catchy.
I'm gonna sit on my butt.
The song done by the pop star at the concert is also pretty enjoyable, but mostly for awkward corniness. Scenes like this and even a played down Pauly Shore actually work okay in the movie in the same way that Zach Morris works in Saved by the Bell. Yeah, you know it's not really popular, but you know what? You give it a pass. It's cute, it's energized. The characters are having a lot of fun in it. The romance actually isn't that bad either. The Roxanne character is actually kind of cute and likable, and the two of them actually do share a believable chemistry. Though I don't know, has the shy, stuttering guy in the corner really ever gotten the hot girl? Well, I'll tell you, no it hasn't! But a Goofy movie is a very fun film. It's bright and colorful, it's got good stuff for kids, and it's got a couple of good things for adults as well. The jokes are pretty clever, the characters are pretty likable. It's no masterpiece, but I think it's definitely worth a look. By popular demand, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? A lot of people have been asking me to do this film, and I guess I can sort of see why. It is technically Disney animation, even though it's mixed with live action. It had groundbreaking technology, and it was the first time you saw characters like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny together. That's still so surreal to me. I'll spill the story real quick for all, two of you that don't know it. Eddie Valiant, played by Bob Hoskins, is a detective in Hollywood. Apparently, a very wealthy prankster named Marvin Acme has been murdered by a toon. Eddie doesn't mind too much seeing how he has this incredible prejudice against toons. Why? Because a toon killed his brother. How?
Dropped the piano on his head.
That is hilariously tragic. Everybody thinks Roger Rabbit is to blame, and so he goes to Eddie Valiant to try and solve the case. Despite his prejudice, he does believe that the rabbit is innocent. And so, with the help of the characters from Toontown, including Roger's saucy hot wife named Jessica, they set out to solve the mystery. I'm trying to think what I can say about this film that everybody else hasn't already. Everybody's seen it, everybody loves it. In fact, they more than love it. They go crazy for it. So okay, let's talk about why people go crazy for this film, because to be honest, I never quite understood. I mean, don't get me wrong, I go crazy for it too. I am in love with this movie. But I mean, everybody in the world seems to like this film, even the biggest sourpusses. Is it the story? I guess, but I don't know. It's not really much of a mystery. I mean, take a guess who the bad guy is. No, really, come on, take a wild guess. Is it the characters? Well, yeah, they're pretty good too, but again, nothing really groundbreaking. We've seen characters with prejudices before and they go through a story arc that changes them back. Is it how technically groundbreaking it is? I suppose, but there's a lot of technological groundbreaking movies that people don't go gaga for like they do with this movie. Even the idea of live-action actors interacting with cartoons is not a new idea. It's been done almost since the beginning of animation. So really, what's the secret formula that everybody can identify with? Well, I thought about why I like the movie. I mean, sure, the story and characters are great, but what is it I love about it now that I love just as much as when I was a kid? And then it hit me. This is the movie I always wanted to see as a kid. The film's very clever in not taking modern-day cartoons, but rather the timeless cartoons that everybody grew up with. They're the characters that fill up the screen. And like I said before, it's not just Disney characters, it's Warner Brothers characters, Paramount characters. It runs the gamut. And I can guarantee you, everybody that has ever grown up watching cartoons has envisioned this. Imagining a film or a story where every single one of their favorite cartoon characters come together. And that's what this movie did. It brought everybody's childhood fantasy to life. It made these cartoon characters that we grew up with real. It treated them with the same dedication and love that we felt every single time we watched them. You don't see a modern day manipulation of Bugs Bunny, you see Bugs Bunny. You don't see a writer trying to recreate Mickey Mouse, you see Mickey Mouse. And because it was set in the past, everybody knows these characters and absolutely loves them. And because of the technology they have, they seem more real than ever. Add a good story, some scary moments, funny moments, dramatic moments, romantic moments. Top it off with some great writers and a good director who put all their time and energy into making these characters seem just as real, alive, and believable to us now as they were when we were children. And you have a movie that captures all the zaniness, all the goofiness, and all the joy that we felt as children watching these cartoons. Quite honestly, it's a perfectly written love letter to our childhoods.